You are already familiar with syntax errors and runtime errors, things that JavaScript will let you know about and give you error messages for. But there are other kinds of errors that JavaScript can't catch, and those are logic errors. You have perfectly valid JavaScript, but you made a mistake somewhere and you just don't get the right result. The program doesn't crash. It finishes all the way to the end, but something doesn't come out quite right. This usually means that you have some logic that is faulty somewhere, or you've referenced a different variable than the one you meant to reference when you were doing calculations. There can be lots of reasons for it. But because JavaScript can't help you find them, you have to be a detective and do it yourself. We're not going to do any complex logic here, but we are going to look at some very simple examples. This first one has two variables, shield power at 10 and danger zone threshold at 50. We're determining if the shield is safe by comparing the two. Let's run it and see what happens. It says the shield power is 10. Is it safe? True. You're thinking to yourself, something's not quite right about that. Shouldn't we have higher power in order to not be in danger? And that's true. So we look at this again and say we were comparing this and we said that the shield was safe if the shield power was less than the danger zone threshold. But what we should have said was greater than or equal to, because if it's less than, we are definitely in danger. So let's run it again and see that we get a different outcome. It says, is the shield safe? False. Okay, so we have 6-star logic and we're good now. Here's an example where you use the wrong variable. We have a pilot with 10 years of experience. The required experience is 5. Does the pilot have their helmet? False. So we're starting out with the pilot not being cleared for spacewalk until we check for certain conditions. So we have this initialized to false, and we're going to figure out whether we can set it to true or not. So if we run this, we find out that it was in fact set to true, which means this entire compound expression here evaluated to true. And that's not what we were expecting because it said that the pilot doesn't have their helmet. So then we realized we repeated the exact same expression twice instead of one of these being has helmet. So let's fix that. And now we have two different conditions that we're checking for. They both have to be true in order for the pilot to be cleared. So when I run this now, we find out the pilot is not cleared. This is false. So that is all there is to it. I'm going to do a quick git commit. As always, every time you add a little bit of code, you should stage and commit your changes. The little message, completed logic errors demo. Okay, I have a practice exercise here for you where you can come in and check some of these things. You've got some if-else statements. Here's a more complex one, and lots of things in here where you can try to figure out, a little bit at a time, what the problem is and fix it. Logic errors can be frustrating, but the more practice you have and the more patient you are with figuring things out a little bit at a time, you'll get better at it and you'll be able to solve things faster and move on. That's all I've got for you now. I will see you in the next one.